Used Google SketchUp for Web before, it might ask you to sign in. There should be an option on your right hand side to sign in with Google. In that case, use your school email to sign in. Your home screen here will look different to mine. I have all these drawings here already, but yours will be blank. Now when it comes to creating a new document, do not click create new. Always click the drop down arrow and then choose decimal millimeters. That way we ensure we create a new document that is in millimeters and not feet and inches or some other type of measurement. When you arrive at the drawing screen here, there's a few things we need to set up before we begin drawing. First of all, down on the bottom left, there's 3 icons. The third one in, which looks like a mouse, if you click that, you have 2 options on input devices. Now, even if you are using a trackpad on your laptop, which most of us are, choose the mouse option because it's just an easier way to navigate your drawing. And then we can close that. Now you'll see on your left-hand side, you have a toolbar of all drawing tools. And on your right-hand side, you have another toolbar with different navigation tools and options and things you can use. Okay, but for this video, we'll be using mainly things on the left-hand toolbar. Now with this left-hand toolbar, if you move your mouse and you stop on an icon and you leave it there for a few seconds, it will come up with the name of that tool. If you're ever unsure, or if the teacher says go to your rectangle tool, if you leave it there, it will pop up with the word rectangle, and then in brackets you'll see a letter or an icon. Now that is the shortcut to access that tool. So I could, for this rectangle tool, click on the rectangle tool, and then I have the rectangle tool here to use, or I could just click the letter R or press the letter R, and then it pops up for me straight away. Now the program can be glitchy at times, so don't get too frustrated if it doesn't work for you, but most of the times it should work that way. If you're looking for a specific tool, the top one up here is a search bar. Okay, so you can click on that, it comes up with a search box, and then in here I can type rectangle and it will give me the rectangle tool straight away to click on there, and again in the box here it'll show you the shortcut for that tool. If there's a tool that you can't find for some reason, clicking on these 3 dots at the bottom lets you access more tools. For example, on my layout, this circle tool here was not there, it was up here in this box, and I dragged it over there so I could easily access it. When we start drawing our timber box, we will do it by drawing a 2D shape on the ground and then using our push-pull tool to extrude that shape upwards. So the first dimension we're going to work with is 200 millimeters wide by 20 millimeters thick. So we'll get our rectangle tool. Now you can draw any size rectangle you want, but straight after you do that, you can start typing in the dimensions 200, 20, and you'll see on the bottom right there, it says dimensions and it has the data that I typed in, and you press enter. It will draw your rectangle to the dimensions that you set. So 200 millimeters by 20 millimeters. You can see that it's shrunk down there. And if you slide 2 fingers up and down the trackpad, now also with your zoom, don't pinch and zoom like you would when you're zooming in on a photo on your phone, for example, because that will zoom into your browser. You want to slide 2 fingers down and up the trackpad at the same time. You can see there, I have my rectangle. And from there, I can use my push-pull tool, which is this one here. The shortcut is P, to click and drag that up, and then type in the dimension 90, press enter. Now I have the first panel of my box carcass. So now I'll go on to draw the side panel. Back to my rectangle tool, click and draw any size rectangle. The dimension for this one is 20 by 100, enter. Get my push-pull tool, the shortcut is P. Click and drag that up, any amount, and then type in 90, press enter, and now you have 2 of the panels for your box carcass. Now before we start making copies of these and manipulating them around the workspace, there's something really important that we need to do. We need to group each shape within itself. Now if I get my selection tool, the arrow, shortcut is spacebar, and I click this shape once, you'll see it highlights only that one face. If I click it twice, it highlights the face and it also outlines the face. If I triple click it, it highlights and fills in the whole object. Now that's what we need to do. So we need to triple click, so 1, 2, 3, then right click and pull up your options, and you want to click on make group. And do the same thing for the other one. 1, 2, 3, triple click, make group. From there, we can now select the shape we want and copy and paste it. If you're on a Mac, Command C, Command V. If you're on a PC or Windows, Control C, Control V. And you see it makes a copy of it, and just click and drop it anywhere you like. And then back to your selection tool, spacebar, select the other shape, Command C, Command V, and drop it over there. All right. From here, we want to make sure that we've saved our document. So up here, you can see it says untitled. Move over to where it says save. It'll load up this box. Click on this icon here that says SketchUp. Where it says name, give it a name appropriate to what you're doing, timber box. Save that, and you can see up here now the project name is called timber box. Okay, a couple other tools when it comes to navigating your screen. And these are really important to ease the frustration when you're trying to see the shapes from a specific angle. If you move down your toolbar here, and I'll also call out the shortcuts as we get to them. This tool here called the orbit tool, and you can see the shortcut is O. Now what that allows us to do is, if I click on that, if I click and hold and then slide around my trackpad, it allows us to rotate and move around that shape in 3D. Then what we also have is this grab tool, or pan, sorry, the pan tool. Shortcut is H, and I remember that by its little icon of a hand, so the shortcut is H. What that allows us to do is grab the screen and move it around on a 2-dimensional plane. So for example, if I zoom into here, but I want to move down the shape, I can use the hand to grab and move myself down the shape and look across the shape on a 2D plane. Zoom back out. And the other thing about navigating the page is, when you zoom, it will zoom into wherever your mouse is. Okay, so for example, if my mouse is up on the top right here, it will zoom into the top right. If my mouse is on this rectangle there, it will zoom into that rectangle. Okay, so make sure you're conscious of where your mouse is when you're zooming. What we need to do now is move all these shapes together to start forming the box. Okay, so a tip with doing this is the corners snap together much easier than trying to just move them in place. Let's start with this shape here, or this side piece here. We want to move that to the inside of this longer piece. So what we want to do is, I want this corner here to match up with this corner here. So what I'll do is I'll get my selection tool, select the one I want to move, then I'm going to get my move tool, shortcut is M, and I'm going to move to that specific corner and grab the dot and then move it over to the corner of the other piece, and you can see it kind of clicks together and it turns purple, and then I'll let go of it. Okay, remember to select out of it before you start doing other things. I'm going to use my orbit tool, shortcut is O, to rotate around this shape. So now what I want to do is move this one over here on the right hand side, bring that corner in to meet this corner here. So I'll select it, M for move, click that corner, bring it over to this corner and let it snap together, and then drop it there. And then same thing with this one in the back there. Spacebar for your selection tool, select the shape, M for move, and I want this back corner to meet that corner right there. So click it, bring it over, let them meet, and then drop it there. Okay, so now if I zoom out, go back to my orbit tool, and I rotate around the shape, you can see we have constructed the carcass of our box. Now the reason why I left the person standing there is when I start drawing, or when we start drawing, it's a good way to make sure we're drawing in the right proportions and the right sizes. Okay, so you can see that this timber box in proportion to the person there, okay, is the size that we're going to make it, and it's not any larger or any smaller. Okay, so when you do draw it, I suggest leaving the person there for a while, just to make sure it's about the same size as his shoe. Okay, so from here, the next thing we're going to do is draw the base. Now the dimensions for the base are 200 by 200 by 140 by 3 millimeters thick. So we're going to draw a rectangle on this plane. See how it's popping up? We don't want that, we want it to lie flat. And we're going to type in our dimensions, 200, 140, and then we're going to use our push-pull tool, shortcut is P, 3, enter, back to your selection tool, triple click it, right click, make it a group, and then we're also going to draw the lid. Rectangle tool, shortcut is R, dimensions for this one is 200 by 140 as well, except we are going to extrude it using our push-pull tool up 20 millimeters. So you have a thin one and a thick one. Again, back to your selection tool, triple click, make it a group. Now we're going to move these into place the same way that we did with the carcass panels. Select it, M for move, and I want this corner here to meet this corner up here. So I'll see if I can click that one, yep, and drag it up there. Then I'll come grab this one here, and I'll quickly just move it so I can see it here. All right, and I want this corner here, the bottom left one, to meet that bottom left one there. So click, pull it over, get it to meet. Okay, I'm going to go save, orbit around it to make sure it's all nice and even. So now would be a good time for me to introduce something on this right hand panel here, and more specifically this icon here, which is called your scenes. If you open that one, it shows you all these different views. So if you want to look around your object or draw in specific planes, you can click these ones and it will rotate to those views. So this one that has a little front door is the front of your box. If you click on this one, that's the top view, the bird's eye view. That will show us the back of the box, the sides, and then our isometric views, which are our 3D views. Okay, all of our isometric sides there and there. Okay. Now the last thing we'll do for this tutorial is to tilt the lid open and show you the rotate tool. So what we'd want to do now is, using those views that I just showed you, go to one of our side views. So you're looking at it from the side, close that panel, zoom in. Down on our left-hand toolbar, go to this icon here, rotate tool, shortcut is Q. Now this tool can be a bit tricky to use at times. So you need to focus on a few details. One of them is, you need to make sure it's flat on the face that you want to rotate. So how it is now is good, but if I go up to the top or over a side, okay, sometimes it might do some tricky things. So make sure you're on the face of the object that you want to rotate. Click once and then drag to the right. You'll see it creates this green line that shows you that it's 100% horizontal. But if I rotate, nothing happens yet. So make it horizontal, click a second time, and then now it allows you to rotate that shape, okay, 360 degrees. Okay, we just want to tilt it roughly about 30 degrees there. Click down, and you can see it's let go of the shape. Now what we need to do is go back to our selection tool, spacebar, select the lid, and we need to move it up with our move tool again. So shortcut M for move. We want this corner to meet this corner. So I'll click it and I'll drag it up there, and I'll click it and drop it down there. Back to my orbit tool, and we can rotate around our box. Okay, one last thing we can do with this now is add a texture to it, or a fill. So being a timber box, we will give it a timber texture. Okay, so you can go to your paint bucket tool here. Shortcut is B for bucket. And you can see we can give it different colors, but we want to give it a texture. So if you go to browse here, next to the little picture of the house, go to browse, you have different textures to choose from. So you have 3D printing, asphalt and concrete, brick cladding and sliding carpet, fabrics, leathers, textiles and wallpaper, and so on. There should be a wood option. Click into that. Then you have these different wooden textures. Okay, so you can click around with these. My favorite one is this last one, because you can see more of a natural wood grain texture. And you click on all your surfaces and it fills it in like that. Okay, so now if I close this, click save, back to my orbit tool, O, and you can rotate around your timber box there. And if you choose to at this point, you can go to your selection tool, click on the guy at the back and delete him, and press save. If this comes up when you click save at all, just make sure you do click yes, purge all. What it does is it just gets rid of all irrelevant details in your drawing and minimizes the file size. There you go, your timber box.